Hi, my name is Jasmine Chau, and thank you for coming to my Capstone presentation. Today, I'm going to be talking about urban green spaces and understanding their impacts and effectiveness on human well-being and health. Starting off with background, urban areas have become an unsustainable and harmful living environment for people, but by adding green spaces in urban areas, it can help to alleviate these problems for people and can also be beneficial to human health and well-being. However, being able to access these spaces is how people can benefit from them, which is an issue that many communities and people face daily. Therefore, there's a need to show the importance and benefits of green spaces and to advocate for equal accessibility to all of them. My research question is, what is the effect of urban green spaces on human well-being and health, and how does accessibility impact this? For my internship, I interned with Homegrown Organics and working with them on various landscaping projects. I also learned sustainable landscaping methods and how it helps the environment. The three methods that I used to collect my data was one, through an interview discussing their opinions on green spaces and how it impacts their health and well-being and the environment as well. Secondly, I also did a literature review on topics of urban green spaces, human health and well-being, and accessibility, and how those three topics impact each other or have an effect on each other. And lastly, I conducted a survey just asking general questions about if they know what green spaces are and if they think it's important to the environment and how it affects their well-being and happiness and just accessibility. For my results, my major results, as you can see from figure 2, is that for the majority, they agree that that being surrounded by nature makes them happier. And then in figure 3, these responses show a question asking them to rate from not important to extremely important of how beneficial and important they think green spaces are to the environment. And you can see that everyone said that it's important, just either extremely, very, or somewhat. Figure 4 is a flow chart of 3 main pathways that link green spaces to positive health outcomes. And these arrows here represent patterns of influence. And lastly, my last findings related to accessibility. The first part is from my literature review, which resulted in that, or my findings showed that communities with the lower SES typically have less access to safe green spaces compared to communities with the high SES, as well as having less amount and lesser quality of green spaces compared to those communities with a higher SES. Figure 5 here are responses from my survey asking how often respondents would try and go to green spaces depending on how close the nearest one was to them from where they live, if it was less than 15 minutes or if it was more than 15 minutes. And most people would say that they would go often if it was less than 15 minutes. These results and findings are significant because as urban areas face these issues of limited resources, increasing population, and increasing impacts of climate change, the people living in these urban areas are being indirectly affected by these issues and are suffering as well. And so it's vital that city and our state officials put more attention and funding towards building a better, healthier, and sustainable living environment for people to live in. And they can start simply with building safe and easily accessible green spaces, such as like small parks or like community gardens, and or just public open seating areas for people in all communities so that everyone can enjoy. Thank you for listening to my presentation. I'd like to thank my site supervisor, John, at Homegrown Organics, my faculty advisor, Christy, for being my professor and faculty advisor this whole year, And lastly, to my friends and family who supported me throughout my whole college career and for pushing me through to finish this presentation. Thank you.